Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really personally feel as though I'm being protected by the SEC via their lawsuit against Ripple. I feel like I'm being harmed. Am I the only one? I'm going to guess that I'm not the only one. And it seems to me like, I understand in the end there's going to be, I suspect, sufficient regulatory clarity and the asset class as a whole will move forward in a satisfactory manner. But in the short term, it's hard to not feel like XRP and the entire crypto asset class is just completely under attack. And so I want to share with you a couple articles and some thoughts. I'll start with this one from the Daily Hodl. Top U.S. banking regulator says he's concerned about Capitol Hill dismantling pro-crypto regulations. And what's being discussed here? It's on the topic of this piece. I'm just pulling this up just for the sake of it. There's a headline from July 23rd, 2020, but it's about this. Top U.S. regulator says banks can hold Bitcoin and cryptocurrency on behalf of customers. So, you guys may remember that. I covered that fairly extensively on the channel when it happened this past summer. It was just like, hey, party celebration time. This is gigantic news. XRP and Bitcoin and name your cryptocurrency can be held on behalf of customers by the banks. Sounds like regulatory clarity. And I'm going to go through this first piece I just cited here, but it's talking about potentially the dismantling of that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but holy freaking hell, what a last 7 days or so, 8 days, whatever it's been. Crazy. And then there's this article from the Daily Hodl. Will leadership shakeup at SEC impact Ripple and XRP case? Top crypto lawyer explains why it's extremely unlikely. And so for those of you that are unaware, of course, this whole lawsuit against Ripple by the SEC, led by Jay Clayton, who is the former SEC chairman. He brought the charge, and then literally the next day, he just ghosted. He's like Kaiser Soze. He's gone by resigning. He resigned the very next day. He's just like, you can't make this stuff up. It makes me wonder, like, fast forward another, like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there are going to be movies made about this stuff, about XRP and Ripple and Bitcoin and everything. There's going to be all sorts of interesting movies. And like, this is going to be one of those things, I think. This, like, you can't, if you're making movies, at some point you're going to cover something like this because it's so freaking mind-blowing. And so there's somebody replacing Jay Clayton in the interim. Unlikely that this particular individual will become a full-time replacement because there's an administration change. Could happen, just very unlikely. And the SEC put out a release, which I'm going to share with you because, frankly, despite the fact that I remain optimistic long-term for, a couple things, for the success of Ripple in litigating against the SEC, but also for the long-term viability of XRP, I maintain that position. Despite that being the case, though, I don't think that some of what's happening now is going to help. But ultimately, in the end, it doesn't matter. Either XRP is a security or it is not. And I think the facts favor Ripple. And I've been articulating the reasons why I personally feel that. Now, to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind, so you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I just enjoyed running this YouTube channel as a hobby, and I do not have any sort of law background either, so I just do the best I can as a layperson to take in as much information as possible so that I can try my very hardest to make an informed decision, just like I'm sure you're doing. And so this is part of my process, just following people that are in the know that have backgrounds in this, following mainstream media articles, following crypto articles, just getting every little tidbit of information that I can to figure out the direction in which this is all going to go. So into this first piece, though. Acting comptroller of the currency and former Coinbase legal chief Brian Brooks says he's concerned that members of the Congress are urging the incoming Biden administration to dismantle pro-crypto regulation in the name of politics. In a recent CNBC Squawk Box interview, Brooks warns that Capitol Hill could rescind some of the progress made by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which for short is the OCC, in regulating the crypto industry. And here's a quote. All of this is happening in an environment where we're about to have a change of presidential administrations and there's calls on Capitol Hill to dismantle some of the regulatory protections we put in place for this stuff. So you think about the fact that my agency is trying to make it safer for people to custody in national banks. We've talked about banks supporting some of these stablecoin projects. If those protections aren't in place, I really worry about the environment for these kinds of things. So that's why I'm most focused on is how do we preserve the safety for people who want to participate in that market. And so, by the way, this is really worth knowing if you didn't catch this in the past. Mr. Brooks here, there's a video, and I may have even shared a short video clip on the channel at some time in the past. I remember rather vividly watching it, in which he didn't cite Ripple, he did not cite XRP, but he said that it was the, quote, killer app, the killer app of crypto at this point, effectively, and I'm going to have to paraphrase because it's been a while since I saw the video clip, but it was effectively, removing all of the roadblocks in the world of global cross-border money movement. Just the financial implications in terms of money flows globally are just breathtaking. It's astonishing. And the fascinating thing about all of this is none of it's possible without decentralized cryptocurrencies with an open market price, specifically XRP, in my personal view. And so he cited, effectively, without saying XRP, he cited the use case of XRP as a bridge currency. He absolutely did. And I can't say what he had in his mind, whether or not he was thinking of XRP as he said that or not, but he's well aware of the promise. That's the point. Piece continues. Since Brooks took the reins of the OCC in May, the agency has taken crypto-friendly steps, including a decision that grants banks the right to provide custody for crypto assets. With a change of guard in the government looming, Brooks says the future of the crypto industry could go two ways. And here's a quote. We're at a really critical inflection point right now. It's kind of a fork in the road. So one path forward is that we find ways of addressing money laundering risks and we find ways of addressing terrorism financing, which I think can be done, but we make this safe for the consumers and investors to participate. That's why the banking system has such an important role to play. The other path, which is a very real potential here, is that we politicize some of these tech issues, whether it's crypto or fintech more broadly. We politicize it by undoing all of the good work this administration has done to make it safer, to make it more real. And if we do those things, as for example, Chairwoman Maxine Waters' letter recently suggested, then I'm not sure if we have enough of a foundation to move forward here. So it's all about consolidating regulatory gains and consumer protections that we've tried to put in place. Yeah, exactly. That's a legitimate concern, and it's just like everything that's happening here. It's just astonishing. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or is it now going to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back? Maybe. I'm not sure, but with what's happening with the litigation surrounding Ripple here, it's going to have a really broad impact on the rest of the crypto asset class. And look, the crypto asset class will persist. It's more so a question of, well, certainly, admittedly, what happens specifically with Ripple and with XRP. But what are things going to look like moving forward? Because I'll tell you this, the United States impact within this space could be dramatically hindered to a point where most of the technological revolution, whatever you want to call it, over the coming decade or two in particular, it's not going to be in the United States. And I understand that many of you listening, you're like, okay, yeah. but because, that's like an ethnocentrist point of view. I totally get that. But I am in the United States here in the Midwest. And a little over half my channel happens to be in the United States. So that's where we're coming from here. But I understand the evolution ultimately is going to happen. It would certainly be a shame if things were not properly litigated. Because the other thing, look, I have faith in general in the litigation process in the United States in general. I understand there can be very terrible things that happen. Nothing is perfect in life. But, there's always that fear of, even though I personally firmly believe that XRP will be found to not be a security, and that Ripple, even if they have to pay a fine for this or that, whatever, and a gotcha moment, okay, fine, maybe that happens. But if justice is done, then I suspect that XRP will be what we all know it is, right? To not be a security. I never thought I was purchasing any sort of share in Ripple when I was purchasing XRP. That doesn't make any damn sense. I did my own damn research and understood that even back then, the XRP ledger was sufficiently decentralized here. But I admit I don't know the way this is going to go, and that's why it's scary for you and me and everybody else. And so I'm just going to be here, like I said in my last video. Look, I started this channel at the bottom of the bear market by coincidence, by the way. It was December 14th, 2018, and this feels scarier for XRP holders, even though we're in a bull market. I'm not going to go away. I'm going to keep reporting on this stuff, and I'm still optimistic while willing to admit that yeah, these are scary times. But I think that there's reason to still be optimistic, and there are all sorts of people that so firmly feel that this is going to go the way that it should. And don't forget that Ripple's legal team is led by Andrew Soresny, who is a former SEC director who disagrees with Jay Clayton and the rest of the SEC that's now following forward after Jay Clayton has now resigned, and he's not the only one. So take a look at this piece from the Daily Huddle. Will leadership shakeup at SEC impact Ripple and XRP case? Top crypto lawyer explains why it's extremely unlikely. A prominent crypto lawyer says a leadership shuffle at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is unlikely to have an impact on the agency's case against Ripple. The SEC unveiled its lawsuit against the San Francisco-based payments company days before its chairman, Jay Clayton, stepped down. Although his replacement, Elad Roisman, whose name I am highly confident I'm butchering, is viewed as more crypto-friendly, Compound General Counsel Jake Chervinsky says optimism over the change is likely misguided. And here's a quote. It's extremely unlikely that changes in SEC leadership will have any impact on the Ripple case. Given Commissioner Pierce's conspicuous silence, I'd guess the vote was unanimous in favor of filing. Regardless, the case is being prosecuted by enforcement lawyers who are here to stay. To clarify the point, Commissioner Pierce, she's often vocal when she disagrees with her colleagues on enforcement, such as Kick and Unicorn, that she hasn't commented may suggest she approved. On the other hand, it may be inappropriate to speak up while charges are pending, so it might mean nothing. Even so, she's the only one who's shown interest in voting not to approve crypto enforcement actions. You can see the results of commission votes on district court actions here after they've resolved. I would provide a link there. And so it probably was a bit out of turn to make an assumption about what Pierce had to say. She certainly is very pro-crypto, and there's certainly been no indication in the past that she's anti-Ripple or anti-XRP. But, as far as the new individual taking over here, there actually was this from the official SEC website. Elad Roisman named acting chairman of the SEC. And there's a sentence in here that I didn't particularly care for. So I'm just going to cover part of this here. It's basically an announcement of, hey, I'm here, look at me. But despite all this, I just want to say despite all this, because there's going to be all sorts of people with all sorts of different opinions, and I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't pretend to, which is certainly a part, many reasons why I will never offer financial advice. I'm just sharing with you, things on this channel that I find interesting, happy to talk about what I personally am doing, but it's never financial advice. But as far as this individual, I wasn't expecting someone that's especially in an interim position to just, come in. And by the way, he doesn't even have the power to, but he wouldn't just come in and then see this lawsuit against Ripple and throw it out. That would be highly unprecedented, but he actually doesn't have the power. And I read the technical reasons earlier, and I haven't committed them to memory, so I can't cite them back. Sorry, but it sounded rather convincing to me. He just doesn't have the frickin' power. There's a voting system in place here. But anyway, so you can see here, Elad Roisman named acting chairman of the SEC. The Securities and Exchange Commission today announced that President Donald J. Trump has designated Elad L. Roisman as acting chairman of the agency. And here's a quote. I am humbled and honored to serve as the acting chairman, said acting chairman Roisman. During the time I am in this role, I am fully committed to maintaining the steady course that Chairman Clayton charted during his admirable tenure. I look forward to continuing the work with the incredible SEC staff and my fellow commissioners as we steward this agency into the new year. So, he wasn't talking about Ripple or XRP, but in a general sense, he's happy. And I don't know. I don't know what that means. But it's still crazy to me that after all those years, he waited until the last minute, Jay Clayton, to have all of this just, hit the fan. And here we are dealing with the aftermath. So thanks for protecting me. That's sarcasm, Jay Clayton. Do you know what sarcasm is? Thanks for protecting me. I don't feel very protected. And I'm not at all against the SEC. I just think that this is a bad call. They get stuff right, they get stuff wrong. Right? That's just the truth of the matter. So we're just going to have to sit tight and see how this goes, but I am going to continue to sit tight and with optimism, despite the fact that none of this is fun. And that's the truth. But anyway, that is it for this particular Moon Lambo hot jam. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.